Let's meditate briefly on the 10 endowments. Then we'll pause again, and then we'll do the other, because then we'll do the next topic. And I'll go through these slightly more quickly than the 8 freedoms, because they're simpler. Okay, so again, we think of Lama, we see Lama Tsongkhapa there in front of us. We think, my guru, please bless me to realize the 10 special endowments, these 10 wonderful qualities I have as a human being, so that I'll take the essence of this life and achieve something meaningful with it. Lama Tsongkhapa sends nectar, purifying any obstacles to realizing, identifying and realizing that you have these unique 10 endowments, and that nectar blesses you to be able to realize that you have the 10 endowments. So then what are these? Right? So the first one is, there are 5 personal endowments, and then 5 are environmental. So the 5 personal endowments. First one is, I'm a human being. This is a positive quality. The others are freedom from something. These are positive attributes or qualities that I have. So the first is, I'm human. So that's definitely true. And what we've been just discussing, right? This, I think, this kind of human body, human mind, and so on, are incredibly wonderful, valuable. So it's really something great, amazing to have, that I myself have that right now. Not only, now that's the first. Second one, not only am I human, but I'm in a land, they call it a central land. So that's like a land where there are Buddhist monastics, there are lamas, there are Buddhist teachers, and so on, that the teachings are available. So I'm in that kind of place where highly qualified, fully qualified spiritual teachers come here, and there are some who live here, and so on. There are other practitioners who live here. So I have that endowment, that opportunity, you could call it. And not only that, so I'm human, and I'm in a central land, but also I have sensory organs that work. Whereas, like, it's so difficult. Like, if you can't, for example, if you think of like most Buddhist teachings, right? If you can't hear, many of them don't have somebody who does sign language and so on. Then it would be very difficult. So I have this opportunity where, because it would be so difficult actually, right? Most of them they don't have that. So even if you go to the teaching, you wouldn't be able to benefit much, because most of the centers don't have the resources to offer that. So it's unbelievable that I have working sensory organs. I can see the images of the Buddha, I can hear the teachings. So I have all these, like, I call them opportunities. Right? All those things give me amazing opportunity. And the fourth of these personal endowments is that I myself have not done any of the, they call them like 5 immediate misdeeds, or 5 particularly horrible negative karmas. So that's like, that just means I did, like, for example, I didn't kill my parents, I didn't kill my mother or kill my father, I didn't kill an arhat, I didn't attack a Buddha, I didn't cause a schism within the monastic community. Those are like 5 particularly heavy or horrific negative karmas. I didn't do those. Because if one did those, it sort of limits one's ability to progress spiritually in some sense, if one doesn't purify it. But luckily we can say, I didn't do that. Of course I've created some bad karma, but nothing like that. And then the 5th one is, I have some degree of faith. I have some degree of, like, belief in that, like, in the possibility of enlightenment, in the possibility of spiritual progress, in the value of spiritual practice, and so on. So among human beings, right, first of all, I am human, and then I have these other 4 qualities that are quite precious, spiritually speaking. It's amazing that I have all of those. I feel so fortunate to have all of those because they are what allow me, they really allow me to make any kind of spiritual practice that any kind of spiritual progress rather, that I really want to make. But actually those wouldn't work if I didn't also have the right environmental conditions. And so there are 5 more. Again, like endowments, or you can almost call them richnesses. 5 kinds of richnesses, 5 kind of opportunities, whatever you want. I don't know what word resonates, but it's like to really feel the sense of, wow, like I have this opportunity, I have this wealth of opportunity. So one of those is that a Buddha has come, right? So out of great compassion, Shakyamuni Buddha came to this planet and turned the wheel of Dharma. So the Dharma exists. He turned the wheel of Dharma here. And actually, those are the first 2. So one is Shakyamuni Buddha came, and the second is he turned the wheel of Dharma. The third is that that Dharma that the Buddha taught still remains. It's still available. It's still there, available to me. And when it says the Dharma is still available, that means on one hand, like the actual teachings, the scriptures, and so on, are still available. But also there are beings who can teach it based on their own experience. Beings like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So it's not just the words, but it's also like the inner realization Dharma that still exists because there are these exalted beings like that. So that's the third of these richnesses, which is an amazing richness that we can meet beings like that. Then the fourth richness is that we're in a time, we're sort of near the end of this time, they say. We're still in a time where beings do newly realize the Dharma. So it's not just these sort of, someone like His Holiness the Dalai Lama who comes back lifetime after lifetime and so on. But there are practitioners who gain fresh new realizations through their practice. And that's quite true, actually. There are quite a few people, there are many people like that, still on this planet, who, start off like us, and then they practice sincerely over a period of time, and they transform, right? And they gain progress. So I'm still in a time period where that can happen. And that means that I have that opportunity to do that as well. If others can do that, I can do it too. It's part of the implication there. So it's unbelievable that that's possible. It's amazing. Right? Wonderful. And then also, there are people who are willing to help out. Because even with all those other conditions, if there weren't people to make, that spiritual teachers exist and so on, if there were no one around who was willing to help out by organizing events, by creating Dharma centers, or by organizing teaching events, by organizing retreats and so on, then even all those other conditions, I wouldn't have any access to that. But actually there are people, right? There are quite a lot, so there are all these people who help organize things like these kinds of opportunities. And so that's another environmental condition, is those people's kindness and compassion and generosity, which gives me access. So we think then, wow, so I have the 8 freedoms and these 10 opportunities or richnesses or endowments. I have that kind of rebirth right now. Right here, right now, I have that. And the Buddha said, right, that this which I have, this precious human rebirth, with 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, right? So now we've identified it. So you can think, I myself, right here, I have that. Which is what Buddha said, this is the best thing, the best opportunity, the best situation for progressing on the spiritual path, best situation for progressing to enlightenment, So I have everything necessary. I have all those qualities, all those 18 qualities or things. And so that's the conclusion of this first main topic. We have identified it. I myself have the precious human rebirth. And now it's not, so you realize that you should understand that intellectually, of course, but there should also be some feeling, recognition. Wow, I really do, actually. It's really actually true. I have this thing that the Buddha is saying is incredibly special within the entire universe. The most precious thing, like in the whole universe, I have it. And so just try to pause for a moment and really feel that, like cultivate that recognition or that feeling that, like, in the vast ocean of space and time and samsaric existence, like I somehow have the most valuable opportunity, the most valuable situation. Like the universe is infinite in space, infinite in time. Better to say multiverse. The multiverse is infinite in space, infinite in time. And I have what the Buddha is saying is the most valuable thing in that universe. I have something that can bring some ultimate benefit to myself and others. Much more valuable than like winning the lottery or finding $1 billion or than. This is like infinitely valuable. This human condition, qualified by 8 leisures and 10 opportunities.